Down here. I've been running like my head's been cut off. Today has been busy, so this is my first time to slow down and get a chance to see some folks. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I'm Councilman Brandon Taylor, District 21. I'm so glad that you all got a chance to come out. One of the things I wanted to ask you that I like to ask just to get a better understanding of how people heard about this. Who got mail? If you raise your hand if you got mail. Don't remember? All right. Did you get an email blast from me? All right. A text message? All right, perfect. All right. If you didn't, and you live in this district and you want regular updates, I'll ask you to do two things. Thing number one is to go to votebrandontaylor.com and sign up for my newsletter. And thing number two, do not unsubscribe. Because if you... I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Because if you unsubscribe, I cannot legally add you back, and you may miss some things, and then you'll call me and say, well, Councilman, I didn't know about that. And I say, well, I sent it in my newsletter. And then the newsletter didn't have it because it was unsubscribed. So please, votebrandontaylor.com, and you can sign up for my newsletter. So before we get started today, I want to cover a few things. So next Tuesday, April 4th, is going to be, everyone has heard about the redistricting 40 to 20 from the state. So there's going to be an opportunity for you all to come to a public hearing on Tuesday, April 4th, which is next Tuesday, at the council chambers. We're going to have a public hearing on that matter to hear from residents in regards to many things, but mostly the maps that we have released thus far. There's a map that has a 17 council district with 3 at large, and then another map that has 15 council districts with 5 at large. And again, I released that in my newsletter, so if you sign up, I'll definitely have that out. I'm going to try to I generally do my newsletter right when we walk into the council meetings on Tuesday, but my plan is to try to have that completed earlier so you guys can have some updates. And then some better news, I guess we can say. 31st Avenue North between, and I've been working on this for a long time, between Park Plaza and West End is in the midst of a very infancy conversation for a road diet, traffic calming, complete streets with sidewalks, crosswalks, and all of the above. Thank you. Well, so right now the work is to be determined. Bike lanes, a few other pieces that may be added. Prior to that, here relatively soon, in the next month or so, I'll have a community meeting with you all to bring out NDOT, Nashville Department of Transportation. Before they complete the design, I think that it'd be necessary for them to hear from the neighbors here of what the design or ideas that they have to see what you all would like to see. And so we want to do that. So I'm super excited. This is something that I heard when I was campaigning. And I think it took forever, but it took some time. Just to temper your excitement, we will, it's going to take some time to complete. So today, we don't have a design. We don't know what it's going to look like. And also, we're waiting for the development at Long and 31st to kind of be complete. So if we repave the street, we don't tear it up again. So we want to make sure that it stays there for quite some time. And so that's exciting news for us. I'm really super excited about it. And so hopefully you guys just be on the lookout for more information so you can come and share your feedback with the city as we start the design phase for that project. All right, so what we're here tonight for, invited the CVC, Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation to come. A little while ago, they approached and asked what I thought about relocating the New Year's Eve celebration from Bicentennial Mall to Centennial Park. I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. I have to ask my constituents what they think. I know that there has been some questions. We've had numerous of conversations with individuals here about the park when the park was being renovated and different things of that nature. And so I knew that this was a question. We have many conversations about crime within the park and in the surrounding area. So those were some of the thoughts that came up. So I had a good time to be able to reach out to a few of you prior to this and just kind of get some feedback and to see what you hear, and had a chance to talk with the folks over at the CVC. And we wanted to have a meeting because you were asking some questions that I just couldn't answer. And I think we'll be able to answer some of those questions tonight. And so that's what we're here. I'm going to pass it over to our incoming president of the CVC, and outgoing president. I don't believe it just yet. When he's gone, I'll believe it. Butch Spirited, and of course, Dean Ivy. So guys, you can take it away.
Thank you, Councilman Taylor. And thank you all for allowing us to come in tonight to speak to you. I'm just going to give you an overview and then we'll have Q&A. The city is our client. We're the Nashville Convention Visitors Corp, as Councilman said, and we've been producing New Year's Eve for the city for 14 years. For the last 6 years, we've been at the Bicentennial State Park. And with all of our events, we're always looking at ways to improve them for the attendees, to improve them for the city, and we are looking at the right location. We are seriously exploring the possibilities, but no decisions have been made. I want you to know that. The event is one evening. It is on New Year's Eve. The doors don't open, or the gates don't open until 5:30 p.m., and the show starts at 7 p.m. We moved the event off of Broadway so that at Bicentennial State Park, it could be more of a festival atmosphere. Families do attend the event. In fact, this past year, 50% of the attendees were locals. Since we moved the event off, again, I said it was a family atmosphere. It's a festival. It is a great atmosphere. It's not just one big party. I want you to hear that. We have had only one arrest the entire time that we've been there, and that arrest was a homeless person that wanted to have a warm place to sleep that night. So we stress security and safety first and foremost. We fence off the park. We have hundreds of private security as well as Metro PD, and we have representatives here tonight from fire and police department to answer any questions that you might have. Last year, the event brought in almost 33,000 hotel rooms and $38 million in visitor spending. So it's a huge economic driver for the city. But again, it's an event for locals as well. The number of attendees varies. It depends on, the weather is a lot of it. The headliners are a lot of it. The people come on a flow. They may come in for the first headliner, and then you can literally watch people leaving and more people coming in. So it's not as much all at one time except at midnight. I do think it'll be a little bit different here at midnight because we're not as close to Broadway. At Bicentennial State Park, people do come down from Broadway at midnight, so it's too far for them to be here just for the music note drop. One thing I want to address up front is the condition of the park. We do everything we can to take good care of the space. We put down about 200,000 square feet of flooring to protect the grass. And we have a safety coordinator on site. We have someone taking photographs and videos to make sure that if anything gets damaged, we repair it. We have always left the park better shape than we found it. In fact, there have been years that we have repaired things that we didn't do any damage to. There were light poles at Bicentennial Park that had been damaged before the event that we replaced because we want to be good stewards and take care of the park. This park is much more accessible, and it's built for events, unlike Bicentennial Park, so it will be easier. It's not as tight of access. Another thing I want to add is that we have been a longtime supporter of Centennial Park, of the Conservancy, and of Musicians Corner. And this is a fundraiser. This event would be a fundraiser for the park. We will make a considerable donation to make sure that the park is taken care of in the future. We have not had any major complaints from neighbors around Bicentennial Park, the neighborhoods. In fact, we met with them before we had the first event, and we met with them right after the first event and addressed any concerns they had. And we have not had any issues since then. You can talk to the ones around the park there. But again, we take good care of it. We clean it up. And another thing I want to add, in case you're not familiar, this event is broadcasted on CBS. It's a 5-hour TV special just on Nashville. And you look at the Parthenon would be on television in this beautiful park, and it would be great exposure for the city in a really nice spotlight. So I will stop there, and we can answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
I might just ask Metro PD and Fire if you guys have any just general comments in terms of your experience. Derek, I know you've worked with us a long time, but sometimes hearing from police is a little more.
Well, from a public safety factor, that would probably be beneficial for us as a city. I think we've kind of, sorry. Do I have to keep it pressed, or is it?
It's good.
Okay. I think from a public safety factor, it would actually be beneficial for the city. We've kind of outgrown Bicentennial, and I do have always had some concerns due to their hardscape. We have some pinch points, so if we were to have a critical incident, I've complained for years to Butch and David as much as I could about egress and things of that nature. Centennial's much more open. It'd be a lot easier to light up, a lot easier to secure, and things of that nature. So from a public safety, I can't speak from a residence, but from a public safety, it would definitely be beneficial for the city.
Could I ask,
If you have a question, if we could, so we're recording this. There are several of your neighbors that couldn't make it this evening, and I got a ton of requests to have this recorded, and a huge thank you to ITS for doing this in less than 24 hours. But if we can go to a microphone with the questions, that will be able to be recorded as well.
Thank you. Especially since we're talking about safety, I'm curious to know from that perspective why it was moved from downtown.
There's a two parts to that. One, we had outgrown it, and a second component to that is, like they were saying earlier, now that it's at Bicentennial, it's more of a family event. Down there, it was more of a party. And so you had the families with the party dwellers, and that created some issues, along with also the density. We had some people almost getting trampled. So it was really a safety factor. We had to move it out due to the amount of people that were on Broadway.
Yeah, I would just add that it was initially a request of the fire marshal to say this has gotten too tight for Broadway with the old buildings on either side. And when we moved to Dina's point and Sargent's, we left, I'm going to say, the bad behaving drunk element behind. They didn't follow us. And our crime incident dropped dramatically. So we were told we were killing it. It won't work. Nobody will come. It's been more successful and safer than ever.
I can speak on that. Typically, when we had it downtown, we would have somewhere between 40 and 50 arrests. With Bicentennial, like you said, 1, 2, I think for the amount of years that we've had. So it is a much different location. So for us, we're very grateful that it was moved from downtown.
Okay, so my point about this is the fireworks. This is too small an area. You have Parthenon Towers right here. You have 2 hospitals right there. If one of those fireworks goes awry, you have a potential of a real serious problem. And on July 4th, 2017, you had fireworks that went awry and went into the Titan Stadium and took out rows of seats. Thankfully, nobody was in the stadium. But if this happens here, you have helipads here, you have Centennial, Midtown, St. Thomas Midtown, you have TriStar Hospital right here, the Parthenon Towers with all of the handicapped and elderly people that live in there. If one of these fireworks goes awry, I can see this accident happening before it does. This is not a good place for this. Why don't you have the concert at the Ascend Theater and have everybody on the grass there on First Avenue and have the barge in the river where it's safe?
Appreciate your comment. First, completely different scenario between July 4th and New Year's Eve. July 4th, we might have 70,000 shells, some as big as 8 and 10 inches. For New Year's Eve, we have roughly a 2-minute show with very small shells, most happening like they would at a Titan game from the tower that drops the note. So there's no big shells, 2 or 3 inches. Fire marshal inspects everything in terms of the fallout zone and what, where, and when. So there's no comparison with the type of fireworks on the event itself.
Either way, if one of those 2-inch fireworks goes into an apartment house or an apartment building or in the hospital, and you got sick people in the hospital. I don't know if you've ever been in the hospital, but I was in the hospital 9 weeks when I was pregnant. And it's no fun to hear noise when you're sick. And in addition, we just spent millions of dollars to fix this park. And you want to have hundreds of thousands of people there trampling it. I don't care that you're going to put down wood or whatever you're going to put down. It's going to get trampled. It's going to get trampled.
So we invested in the park as well. We made the first donation to bring the landscape architect in. So we're big fans of Centennial Park, and we have put our money where our mouth is when we didn't need to. I'm not going to argue with you about the fireworks if the fire marshal wants to speak to the safety that goes into that. But there are a lot more people closer to the fireworks, and nothing is more important than public safety. So there's nothing that could reach the towers, and there's nothing that could reach the hospital. And we always repair everything that we do. I understand you don't like it, and that's certainly understandable. But you know, we're going to stick to our facts that we know, and I'll answer your questions the best that we can.
I'll speak on the fireworks. So the fireworks that happened at the stadium and the seats, it did damage seats, but you're dealing with plastic. And I'm not downplaying that there was something went awry, but when any event that goes on in Nashville that has any kind of pyro, and any event that goes on, there's a site plan turned in, and if there's fireworks involved, like we said, the size of the shell that's able to be shot depends upon the fallout zone. Accidents do happen, and I'm not going to take away from that they do, but everything around here is built with exteriors that are concrete masonry and not plastic.
And glass.
Exactly.
Windows.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I have huge windows, floor to ceiling in my apartment.
Sure. There was also huge windows in the Titan Stadium, and none of them were damaged. All of it was the seating and the.
No, I remember. I was here.
So, but every firework event gets turned in and gets approved by the state and by the state fire marshal's office and by the Nashville Fire Department fire marshal's office for safety, for the fallout zone, depending on the sizes of the what can be shot in the area that the event is held.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to offer from this perspective, my wife and I, not this one, sorry. My wife and I, 2017, 2018, actually lived in the 700 block of 4th Avenue, so we were right there across from Bicentennial, and I will say Everything as far as the parks are concerned is exactly what they're saying. We've never seen the park be deteriorated or trampled or run down after the events. And again, we lived literally right across the street from it, and there was never any uprising, anything that made us feel unsafe. It was, in fact, quite calm around there during the time. I mean, for us, the concert, it was a little bit of a benefit to hear that out the window, but again, it wasn't, too disturbing, or wasn't disturbing really at all. And again, the safety was there, and the parks were just as good, if not better, after the event. So just wanted to at least offer that perspective.
Yes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jessica McDuffie Massey, and I actually have to confess, I don't live in this neighborhood. I live in the Hillsborough West End neighborhood, so we are just south of the park, and I'm here on behalf of our neighborhood. We're also interested in how this will affect us. So I wanted to level set a little, and I apologize if I'm coming in not knowing some of these answers. What other locations are you looking at? I'd like to know the number of people that have attended and how that number has potentially grown in the last 5 years, so that you're now looking at moving to a larger location, and what you anticipate attendance increasing to in the next 5 years. I'm sure you have projections. And then let's talk about the logistics of parking, sanitation, and things like that.
I'll be tag team this answer. First, the attendance has remained fairly consistent since we moved. It peaked at well over 200,000 people on Broadway. And in what year? 16 or 17? So that is what facilitated the move to Bicentennial Mall. We're not saying we're leaving Bicentennial Mall. The state has welcomed us back. Be perfectly honest, they have seen a revenue stream, they think, and they've tried to raise the rent significantly, which led us to have the responsibility. We need to look at options. There are not a lot of places to go and look at something like this. So really it's staying at Bicentennial Mall, possible Centennial. I don't have another option for that I think is viable. If you have one, I'm open to it. Attendance, again, 150 to 200 has varied, maybe even as low as 100 when the weather is, if it's cold, if it's wet, we're going to see a drop and maybe a push at midnight. If it's 70 and it hasn't rained, then we're going to see closer to the 200 number. But as Dina said, it is a flow in and out most of the night. We do metal detectors, we do checks for weapons. We don't allow, everybody walks through a metal detector. Parking wise, we've reached out to Vanderbilt and had the conversation since school's out. Can we discuss the opportunity to use some parking there? Don't have an answer. I think Vanderbilt is here, but has said they're open to talking to us about that. Same thing with, we know that HCA wouldn't be in or at work, so we would approach HCA as well and see what available parking there. And it is a heavy Uber, taxi, Lyft, in and out, and we always work with Metro PD on setting up drop-off lanes and keeping traffic flowing. We don't see closing any roads because of Centennial Park. We're at Bicentennial, we have to close a lot of roads, and it impacts the state, and impacts, obviously, just the event in general.
Yeah.
So I think I answered your question.
Yeah, one thing I'll add, I should have said, this park is about 2.5 times bigger than Bicentennial Park, and we don't fill up Bicentennial Park. You'll see pictures, and it's very dense up closer to the stage, but halfway back, you can walk around, you can go to the concessions, and it's not just packed in. So when I walked out and looked at the park the other day, I'm like, this is huge. There's no way we would even get close to filling it.
So just to clarify, you stated...
And let me explain.
Okay.
The reason I feel they've outgrown is because of this TV show. They had to move the stage up quite a bit. So they take up a lot more footprint on the back end. So I should have clarified that. I didn't even think about it, but yes, that TV production. I don't know how much, but it's probably several hundred feet that they moved up in the park. That's what I meant.
So from a security, that's okay. So from a security position, you feel they have outgrown Bicentennial, but from a bodies on the ground,
No, we could do it again at Bicentennial Mall.
okay. But charges from the state are, you're looking at other
That's been a factor.
locations.
Everything is a factor
Sure.
when you've been doing these kind of events between July 4th and New Year's Eve.
Sure.
We have learned a lot over the years, and
And you're saying that Centennial could hold twice as many, so up to 400,000 people.
well,
I don't know the number, but the park is twice as big, really 2.5 times as big as Bicentennial, just
Okay.
from looking at it.
And clearly you cannot control exactly how people decide to come to the
Correct.
event, but you would offer busing, encourage busing. You're working,
we currently, like current New Year's Eve, MTA runs a shuttle from downtown to Bicentennial. We would approach them again and see if they would do that, but yeah, and we communicate nonstop about ingress and egress and access and parking. And it's on our website, it's on our media, it's with our media partners. You can't communicate enough, but we stay after it.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
They didn't answer your question about the projections for the next 5 years.
No, they did not.
We,
But I'm assuming you'd fill the park, right?
we don't, there's not an effort to grow the crowd. We're very happy where it is size-wise. We want to make it a better event. We want to make it a more attractive, more user-friendly, and to Dina's point, even more family. There's no desire to add another 100,000 people or even another 10,000 people. We like where it is, and we like the impact it has provided. So there's no, oh, wow, we can go to 300 or 400,000.
No, with it being a free event, it's not like we're selling tickets and we have
Yeah,
to
we just
reach
haven't ever done that.
projections. And it depends
Yeah.
again on the weather, and I said the other day to the Conservancy Board, the media will always try to get us ahead of time to say, oh, how many are you expecting? It's not about the number. I mean, we're not like, oh, we've got to have 200,000 people. It's not that at all. We just want a good quality event.
Is there ever a number that would concern you if all of a sudden, I don't know, it turned into the best event and double the amount of people? Is there a number that you would cap, that you would not be
I
able
would-
to stand in
I would speak to that,
Absolutely.
absolutely. You know, there's not a number that would, let's say, public safety is going to come first for us. We wouldn't have done July 4th for 17 or 18 years and this event for 12 if we didn't put public safety first. So if we saw that happen to us, it would be unexpected. And then we would look at how do we ticket and how do we control that number if we were going to come back again, because that is not, it's not fun for us. It's not fun for police. It's not fun for fire. And it's not fun for the attendees. So we like where it is. And if we saw something different happening, we would address it. Absolutely. You have our word on that.
And
Because
if it happened that night, the police would say, we need to close the gates. You know, that's happened before with traffic on 4th of July. They closed it off so more cars couldn't come in just for safety reasons.
And 31st Avenue, this road that our councilman just said is a very, very dangerous road. We don't have sidewalks, we don't have anything crossing. I'm not confident that will be fixed before New Year's Eve, so, and you're not closing down the road.
no, there's not a need to, so we would not. And that's part of the conversation, initial conversation with PD. They were like, yeah, we wouldn't have to close any roads and keep that flowing better. And Dina didn't mention, we have thought about the towers, the senior towers at the park, and we would create a viewing area for them, and we would feed them that day as well. So we would make it a special event for the seniors that live in that tower, because we're in their neighborhood.
And we also talked about, I haven't even told you this yet, when David and I walked out there the other day, of creating a family zone so that they would be separate, have their own concessions away from where the alcohol is, if that's what people desire.
And I think it would also be important. Our real goal when we started New Year's Eve, and we were asked to try to create something that would help the city generate revenue. But it was television. We wanted to compete with New York in terms of this town deserves something special. So CBS coming in, it's the longest special on New Year's Eve, but it also adds another element of safety to us and another element to make sure the city looks proper, that it's not just some big party. It is an event that showcases our music, our city, the park, even Vanderbilt, for that matter, if we move to this location. So it's a different animal as a major network special. It's not just a drunk party.
How much longer is the contract with CBS?
We are in the process of, we had a 2-year agreement. We've done 2 years, and we're looking at a 3-year agreement, but it has not been signed.
How much do you make off that CBS contract?
Do
We lose
make?
money. We don't make any
We
money.
lose money.
How much do you pay rent right now for the Bicentennial Park?
We pay about $100,000 in rent.
Okay. And how much would you pay for the Centennial Park?
We're still working on that, but we'll pay rent, and then we'll make a minimum donation of at least $100,000. So it'd be 2 different numbers, but we haven't settled on anything yet because we don't have any answers and we haven't gone that far yet.
Is there a design for this yet? Do we know where everything's going to stage, where the fireworks are going off?
We would, the only thing we know is we would put the stage where the Parthenon would be behind it, so it would be a showcase and a aesthetically pleasant visual for television and for the audience. Any fireworks would happen on the back side of the park. It has to be a certain distance away or we can't shoot it. The music note, we haven't placed it yet, but it doesn't, it's just a LED.
Have you looked at, again, we talked about the hospitals in the area. Has anybody taken a serious look at what would happen with emergency vehicles coming to and fro all these hospitals during an event like this with traffic all over the place? Are we going to create a bigger problem by cutting off arteries to these important
Derek might be able to speak to it better than I can, but
And I both represent the hospital system for HCA and TriStar, and, whatever the community would decide, is the decision the community makes, but if it were to move forward, we would look for a strong partnership with police, fire, EMS to ensure access to patients, access to EMS. We would have some of our own requests with them, in the best interest of the community.
blocking off roads or
Whatever would secure,
traffic somewhere?
whatever would secure access for patients to the hospital and free flow of EMS. We work with police, fire, and EMS frequently. We've got a great relationship. I'm trusting that they would be good partners with us. And that's why we're here to represent it here. And if it does move forward, I can assure you the hospital systems, we're going to be there and I can't speak for Vanderbilt, but Willie represents the healthcare coalition. The hospitals work with one another. I would suspect we would all sit together with plans together.
and even maybe to further answer, we'll have ambulance service on site and emergency EMS on site. We're not going to have an ambulance that can't get out. So we're going to have our own path to get somebody to the hospital if it's needed. And we're certainly going to make sure that the roads are available to transport. It's, I don't want to jinx myself with anything I might say about our efforts on health and safety and our track record. So let me be vague because I'm superstitious when it comes to that. But it's job one on everything we do. And I think police and fire would vouch for that. And they're not going to come in here and lie on our behalf.
Hey, Butch?
Yes.
Well, you can hear me. I'm sure they can hear me. I can hear me. Is that okay?
They've been able to.
That's what I
Okay.
thought. Okay.
We've got
So,
some.
on the site plan, I understand it's too early for everything, but I guess one thing I'd like to point out is if it wants to be family friendly, and because we don't have sidewalks, I mean, I just have to be honest that we all live, many of us live right down the street. We wouldn't ever walk down here. Now, you can walk through the park and then cross over and do all that kind of craziness. So you might want to think about where the entrances are going to be, where the security stations are going to be. And and then maybe just clear the parking, clear the street parking and block that off as a pedestrian way for families and people to get in.
Something we hadn't thought about. It's a great thought.
So something like that, I think would be helpful to make it more family friendly. It's fine for us as adults, but when you have grandchildren or children, you know, and you're trying to corral them, just something like that would be helpful. Not blocking off the street.
Right.
but blocking off
I hear what you're saying, and I love it. I would tell you that if we move forward in this direction, and again, we're not sitting here pretending there's no decision, and there is no decision made. But if we made this move, we would develop a plan, and we'd be happy to come in and share it with councilmen and you all.
And then one more follow-up. Just because we spent so much time and effort in raising money for Centennial Park, I personally have a real strong opinion about this. It's not to not use the park. The whole idea behind raising money was to make the park usable again, right?
Right.
So I want the park to be used, but I also want to make sure that in the process of doing that, that it is family friendly, because it's the only park we have in Nashville that is really
Family friendly.
Every other park is for special groups, special people who live in special neighborhoods and all of that. But this is the one that brings everybody together. So as long as it stays focused on bringing that together, I'll keep an open mind.
Thank you. And I can tell you, as a member of the Greek community here, that park has a special place in my heart. And
Quinceañeras that happen, the Greek celebrate, I mean, it goes on and on. So
you know, I produced the Greek church convention at the park, and cared a great deal about that.
I know you do.
Not all the Greeks were happy
And
about
that's
it.
I want to ask, because I will obviously call them. Has Conservancy taken a stand on this issue?
Not yet. We briefed them on Monday, and we were thinking we'd come here first and then go talk to them. But, you know,
That's okay.
their opinion matters.
I understand.
And
I know it does.
I can say Dina had a long conversation with Sylvia as the emeritus chair, and she
was very supportive.
She was reasonably supportive. I'll say reasonably, she'll say very.
So that was one of the concerns for me in regards to hosting a meeting. And that's why I generally like to have a much more informal meeting without microphones. However, the Conservancy couldn't make it, their board members couldn't make it, and they wanted to hear from you all, as well as they had a chance to visit with the CVC this week during their board meeting, but they weren't available, so they wanted to be able to kind of get some feedback on their own from this meeting. So,
One thing I should have mentioned in my overview is we leave the park open the entire time until the 31st when we close it off for the event. You can use the park. There will be some area closer to the stage that will be blocked off just because we're setting up and everything, and we don't want anybody to get hurt, but the rest of the park is open.
So setup is one day and takedown is one day?
No, it's not one day.
And it's likely that the Conservancy will cover this, but I just want to make sure it's a question that's grappled with. And I don't know what kind of wildlife is in the lake and that area in the wintertime, but there's certainly lots of birds and geese and turtles and you know, we have some foxes downtown. And so I would hope that considerations would be made for their well-being.
Great point. And we will. The thing that I just would add, if we did something move forward, you know, we went into Bicentennial Mall with, we want them to invite us back. We want it to be a mutual, and it has been for 6 years. And we would do the same thing here. We know that one and done is an option if we don't do everything we say and then more. So we take that into strong consideration that we need to go above and beyond. And every year at Bicentennial, we've added more cameras, we've added more trash, we've added more portalettes, we have added a supervisor that watches ingress and egress, because we had vendors that didn't care as much as we cared. So we've learned, we've adjusted, and we'll always make those adjustments, but we want to be invited back. So we're not going to bait and switch. That is just not okay and not who we are. I've been here, not for much longer, but 32 years in my job. And we have a great reputation when it comes to producing events and taking care of our partners.
So I have one question for you. There's been a lot of conversation in this community in regards to, when we communicate about public safety tonight, we're communicating about the people that are at this event. I'm worried about the people that live in this community as their councilman. There's been a number of community meetings that I've had and phone calls and emails and many other yells, screams, texts from people because of the crime that has taken place in this community. If we're bringing this many people here, what is the plan for Metro to make sure that the community from here to south of the park, across West End, north over to One City, there's a lot of people that have now moved into this area. This area used to not be as dense, but it's probably one of the more dense areas in the city center. One of the things that just concerns me, just based on conversations and feedback, is how are we going to make sure that we both manage public safety for the attendees of the event, as well as the community that lives here? Because when I talk to my commanders in the district, I've got 3 precincts. We're always looking for officers. So are we going to have enough officers to be able to make sure that we are covering the communities as well as the public safety event?
So I can speak on that part. For all of our special events, all of our officers that are working in special events are not on assignment, meaning they weren't geared to work patrol that night. We don't pull from patrol ever for any special events, unless there's something like May 30th or things like that, protest. Something that's out of our reach, we didn't expect, things of that nature. But for any planned special event, we pull from either the investigations, which typically they're not working that day as well. We pull from people that are off those days, RDOs, things of that nature, but we never pull from patrol. And that night in particular, I actually do the security plan. So this area would be inundated with officers, to include the outer area as well, because I want to make sure everyone's getting there safe and then leaving safe as well.
Yeah, I can add to that, the majority of the officers, and there's a lot, they're outside of our perimeter. We certainly have some in, and we have police cameras, but we provide about 500 shirt sleeve security inside the venue. And then PD is taking care of traffic, safety, and the perimeter as a primary focus. So it's a tag team, but as Derek says, he approves the plan, and, you know, we abide by it.
Every 4th of July, when there's a big event, the whole gamut of, from NDOT to police department, fire operations, commander climber, EMS, park police, everybody that you can get involved sits down at the same table, and everybody's on the same page, even when it goes back to going back to getting in and out of the hospitals that are around, because the same thing happens when you're downtown. James Robertson is a major corridor, and it doesn't get shut down to limit traffic for EMS, fire, or police. So the same thing would happen here, in and out, and when the plan is, whatever plan is put together is approved, and everybody sits in the same room and goes over, and if there's an issue with fire operations, Commander Clymer's in the room. If there's the issue with access, the fire marshal, something, and myself, and then to do with EMS, there's a representative there, and then same thing with PD. And we're always on the same page when it comes to traffic flow and when it comes to access in and out as far as public safety.
If I can add, Tommy Sutton, Deputy Chief of Police at Vanderbilt Police Department. We always coordinate with Metro to see how we can supplement and assist them. So we'll definitely be working with them as this draws closer and closer.
this on? Okay. I'm going to be a pessimist here and just let you know that I'm extremely opposed to this. Our neighborhood is already being treated like a party every single weekend because of all of the Airbnbs we have to suffer here. I have been the witness to some very disrespectful things that guests have done in our neighborhood, including exposing themselves to me, and that sucks. And trash everywhere, parking in other people's driveways. I hate this. I hate like the idea that you're going to have like, you know, extreme amounts of guests coming here to try to party in our neighborhood. I really don't want that. Also, I don't believe you mentioned when you plan this party to end.
Typically about 12:15 is, so as shortly after midnight as we can. We're ready to go home. We try to not end instantly at midnight, maybe one more song, and then we want out.
Okay.
So it doesn't go much past 12:15 at all, and we prefer 12:05, honestly.
All right. Well, thank you. I hope you don't choose our park. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We agree with you about the Airbnb guests and the behavior too.
Yes, sorry about it. My name, I'm Artis Park. I'm a resident within this area, what have you. No disrespect to what's going on, but I guess my biggest concern is the people. We have so many people between West End, Charlotte, and every other street that's connected, not that far away. You know, people be walking back and forth, you know, during that time. I talk about, I don't know, New Year's Eve, big celebration and all that. No disrespect to them, but like I said, I guess one of my biggest concerns is the safety measures. You know, I know security, police and all that be governing areas, but like I said, we got so many people. We got traffic going back and forth. I mean, traffic, I've been around here. When traffic is at a standstill, you cannot go nowhere. And so I guess all I'm saying is, for the sake of, you know, I know security, they're going to be doing the job. The directors, they're going to be doing their job just to make sure that people are safe going to and from. And people also just drive, because, you know, we got people, you know, people drive fast, people drive slow, people drive at speed. I understand all that too. Just make sure people are safe going in, going out so that things go smooth and, you know, everybody gets home safe and sound. Ain't a big issue, you know, but that's just something I thought I'd mention because, I mean, I know how that can be. You know, Nashville is growing. It ain't big as other cities, New York, Chicago, other bigger cities, you know, even LA, but we're going and trying to get there. And I understand that too, but, you know, just taking the designated time and making sure things are in order, shall I say. And, you know, thinking, of course, if this passes, you know, make sure that you send out a potential notification to the respectful people that are here so that at least they'll be aware and kind of know where the entrances and our exits are located so that when it comes time and they get ready to come to, it ain't no block off. I know from time to time, I mean, I know y'all been around and sometimes they set blocks up, but you can't get through. And I'm like, wait a minute, this said we could go through here, but then they got this blocked off because this area is crowded. I have a lot of cars. This area is crowded. And then if that's not the case, they got people. Like I said, this part of Nashville is up and growing. There's still a lot of people, but I just thought I'd mention it to you. Keep in mind, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more thing to ask, because crime is a serious problem here. 3 weeks ago, 3 cars parked on the street right by my building were broken into. I have a car that was broken into in my garage, in my building. We have an Airbnb right next door to us, and they're not very respectful, to say the least. So my problem with this is, you know, I mean, we're very short of police. This happens normally. So you're going to have all these cars, all these people here. I'm from New York, and I never went to 42nd Street, okay? Never. No New Yorker worth their salt ever goes there, ever. So, and I used to go to the note drop when I first moved here, and I stopped when it got to be so big because it wasn't worth it to me to stand in the rain, you know. I could watch New York on TV. Now I can watch Nashville on TV. So, but my problem is with the crime, with the cars and being broken into. You know, because I still have to have a car here in my garage. And we're gonna have cars all over the place. And as I say, my car was broken into in my own garage, locked.
And I apologize, I can't speak of the day-to-day because I run special events. But special events that night will be safer than you've ever been, I promise you, because I literally put patrols outside roaming the neighborhoods. You can ask any of I think they just left, but I literally put cars out roaming all the different neighborhoods out there.
I wish we could have
And,
that.
so do I. So do I, man. So do I.
I don't walk my dog past 8:30 at
Right.
night.
Yeah.
And you
Because
should-
of the fact
yeah.
that I don't trust what's going on here.
And no one should be in fear of that. I totally agree with you, but all I can speak about is special event. I apologize.
My name is Larry Clymer, and I'm a product of Nashville. I'm born and raised here, Cornish Baptist Hospital, now Centennial, now St. Thomas Midtown, or St. Joe's. And I've been on the fire department 35 years. I've enjoyed these big events. I remember the first one, Bill Boner, I think, was under his administration. We had the first 4th of July. We've had growing pains. For that night, well, I think we dedicated 5 med units and then 4 med carts to the event. And over the years, since we moved it away from downtown, we're bored. It's a fun time. Everybody's relaxed. The atmosphere is not partying like you're thinking when you visited downtown Nashville. The good thing about this is those people still want the bars, and that's where they will be. What I've witnessed since we've moved it to Centennial, by Centennial Mall, is it's more of a family atmosphere. We don't expect, now we're not expecting a lot of action there that night. We still have the same amount of resources there, but we still have resources to cover downtown, because that's where still all the action is. I don't know why people think that in order to have a good time, you have to be staggering drunk.
I know.
But that's the atmosphere of downtown, and that was the convention center bureaus and visitor center, that was when they moved it out downtown, I really thought they'd killed it. And I really thought they're gonna bring it back. But luckily, the numbers actually increased and the runs went down. I mean, Officer Derek, can tell you how many runs, they're actually bored. But he is telling the truth. That night, I'll have more resources over. They have a lot more than we do. I think they try to have 1 officer per 100, is that right? And we're like one firefighter, 1 medic per 10,000. And so that particular night, there will be 5 med units dedicated to the event and more med carts, and then we'll have walking patrols. And then we'll also have teamed up with Metro PD. We work in conjunction together with the FBI. And we call it a JHAT, where it's a joint hazardous assessment team, where we're all on any suspicious bag or anything. We're on it pretty quick. I go back, I work out operations, I go in, I don't even have any trouble getting to Centennial Park like I do downtown Nashville on Broadway. So I don't really have a dog in this. I'm just saying I'm a unicorn. I was born and raised here. This is my town. I'm proud to proclaim it.
I know, and I'm sorry.
No.
I apologize.
But that's the difference. We welcome y'all. We're a welcoming city. So we're very hospitable, and we're glad to have you here, and we're glad to call you family. So we're not here to push anything on you. I was actually surprised we were moving it out here, but I love Centennial Park. The doctor who delivered me, I think the last picture of the Tennessee, I seen he was fly fishing in the lake over there. Is it Watauga Lake or whatever they call it? So we're not pushing this on anybody, but I do love the atmosphere of the New Year's Eve, the way they pushed it away from downtown. When we let our people come here from out of town that want to party and drink and pay $8 a beer, whatever it is now, I'm not sure what it is.
It's a lot more than that.
I have no idea, but anyway. But I'm in trying to, I see some concerns, and I would be too if I lived here, but I will promise you that it's not the atmosphere that you're thinking that when you visited downtown on Broadway. If anybody's been to Bicentennial Park, it's just not the same atmosphere.
No, I never went there.
Apologies, but I'm going to ask a few more questions. Okay, 3 things. 1, can we return to the discussion of money? You said that there would be a $100,000 donation to the Park Conservancy, plus rent, which you don't know the amount of yet.
No.
Plus
To Metro Parks, yes.
Metro Parks. Plus the repairs?
Yes.
Okay. Which would be
Yes, it's,
Okay. My two other questions are, what is the timeline and who is making this decision?
we would be making the decision with Parks, because we have to go back to the Parks Board if we decide to do something. But it would be after we vetted every question. Obviously, we have questions we got to figure out as well, production-wise. But it would be an internal staff recommendation that we would then take to the Parks Board for final decision from answering that.
Doesn't have to be approved by council?
Typically, no, it would be a Parks decision, but,
I'll handle the protocol for you guys.
all right.
So, protocol on this for legislation is, Parks Board will hear this. The approval will come from Parks Board. The approval does not, to use the space, does not have to come to the city council body for a vote. However, there is a special events resolution that has to come to the city council body to be approved. The Parks Board will have an open meeting in this room if it hits the agenda for public comment as well. And that is, from my understanding, isn't been filed,
No.
right? So it hasn't been filed, but if that is to be filed, the Parks Board will then deliberate on this with, listen to you all. I do know that Parks, when they called me, I called the Director of Parks first and foremost, because they're a subsidiary of, well, not even that. They're a private company in Metro. So that's not who we are. We're a public organization, government. So I called the Parks Director, and the Parks Director said, well, have you had a meeting? I said, no, I will, definitely. I'm very transparent. So we wanted to have this meeting to kind of get some feedback from you. So timeline-wise, I'm not sure what that would look like. I'd ask CVC to answer that. But protocol on resolutions or legislation, what will happen is it'll be filed with the Parks Board. The Parks Board will add it to one of their agendas. They meet monthly in this room. They will have a meeting. It would be deliberated by the board, and then from there, they will make the decision if this is to be used. And then if that decision is made, roughly anywhere from 4 to 6 months, the resolution will come to the city council to then present at the council, and then that will be voted on by the council body.
And I would, maybe the last answer is maybe by mid-June, we try to have this resolved, whatever we're going to do, but we can't wait much longer than that. Mid-June, you know, with the two big events we do, we are almost working 6 months at a time, but we try to line up talent and location 7 months out, and then the 6 months in, we're working on production.
And do you think, just follow up to the talent question, Butch, do you think that the talent will be easier to get if it's in Centennial Park as opposed?
You know, I don't know. My guess would be the same, but because TV has changed the mindset of the talent. But I think they would like Centennial Park better, just my gut, because of how unique the setting is. It's not like anywhere else in the country, almost in the world, except for one other country overseas.
The interesting thing about our park is that also as you're in the park, you do see downtown Nashville. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand all that part, but I was just wondering if the entertainment.
Yeah.
Good, okay. I'm sorry, probably you had number 3, and I don't think you got it.
No, I got all
Did
three.
you get it?
Okay.
I'm good, thank you.
You're not intending to cut down any trees? I heard that you cut down trees.
I'm notorious for cutting down trees.
No, I heard there was trees cut down at the bicentennial.
No, the state took those trees down because they wanted to. It happened to help us, but it was a capital commission, and they made the request, and
That's not gonna happen here.
no.
We're planting trees.
We probably will donate trees back to the park as well, yeah. But no, ma'am, Absolutely not. And I was being facetious about myself and cherry trees tied to the NFL draft. So yeah, that was me. But I would say this, it may be the only time that I really followed every policy and recommendation and letter of the law, and it caused more hullabaloo than anything I've ever seen. So it taught me not to follow the rules. I'm kidding.
Anyone have any additional comments, questions, concerns, thoughts?
Councilman?
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say, first, thank you for coming out. Thank you for your candor and your honesty. If you don't take away anything from us, we do what we say. We're not afraid to come in front, and we're not afraid, if we do something, to come back after and address any questions, concerns, comments, or issues. So we appreciate the time today and take your feedback and input seriously. So thanks.
My name is Shannon. I'm with the Element Nashville, Vanderbilt, West End, right here in One City. So with all respect, I completely understand and have empathy for all of the concerns that come with this. But from my standpoint, working with the hotel and at One City, and we are new, the opportunity to have this in our area, from our standpoint, we're thrilled. We're thrilled with the idea of it not all being concentrated to downtown, and this being kind of pulled out. So not from a residential standpoint whatsoever, but from our standpoint, this is thrilling for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
here's, before we adjourn, you might want to catch this, please, 1 second. Okay, or not. So listen, guys, please. The way I like to communicate is because people may not want to tell me what they think today. 615-946-9700 is my cell phone number. I'll answer it, I promise you.
One more time, please.
615-946-9700. You can call me and talk to me, your thoughts. And then brandon.taylor@nashville.gov is my email address. So reach out to me, let me know your thoughts.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.